Hey everybody, Stephen Bogren here from Pro Physique. Today what I want to talk about is why you can't lose weight. Alright, what's up guys? So I hope y'all are liking the baby face. I know some of y'all are going to be telling me that you miss the beard. Trust me, I've already heard it from a lot of my friends. But you know what? Sometimes you got to switch it up. Don't worry, I am in fact still 30 years old. I am in fact still just as immature as I was while I had the beard. And trust me, you're going to have the same Coach Steve that you've had with beard, even though we are going on sans beard, at least for a while. The nice part about the beard is it grows back. For me, it grows back pretty quick, so it's not something I'm too overly concerned about. I think that it'll be nice. You know, maybe I'll grow it back in for the Arnold a little bit, who knows. But let's get to the topic at hand. Why can't I lose weight? Now, this is a very complex question because the body is very complex in and of itself. And so, trying to simplify this down into some very reasonably easy to understand ideas can be tricky at times. But let's start first and foremost with what I think is the biggest misconception about weight loss, and that is that I can just eat better foods. So the reason we talk about eating better foods and what a lot of us consider cleaner foods, healthy, organic, blah, 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 whatever, is that, you know, they are better for us. Now, in terms of weight loss, it's not necessarily about better or worse for us, it's about calories. And so a lot of these better foods are just lower calorie options in general. Vegetables tend to have less calories than cookies. Go figure. And that's just a very broad blanket statement because obviously there's plenty of organic cookies that are still high in calories, high in fats. So we can know that in terms of weight loss and weight gain, there might not necessarily be too big of a difference in what you're making if you're still using a lot of oils or high fat substrates or even like natural sugars, cane sugar, that kind of thing. So first and foremost, understanding that it's not the food choices that are what's getting you in trouble or causing you stalls and weight loss. It's the calorie consumption, right? So we can still have food choices. It's just about moderation and making them fit our total numbers. Everything begins with knowing what you're putting into your body, understanding calories and macronutrients, and then being able to track those and adjust them accordingly. If you go from eating 2,500 calories and having pizza and Pop-Tarts and stuff in your diet to eating 2,500 calories of chicken and ranch dressing on salads and so on and so forth, we haven't made any change, right? We're still net zero when it comes to either decreasing calories or increasing calories. So we haven't done either. The thing that I find most people struggle with during this time is that when they go to the cleaner foods or the better food options, binging tendencies tend to come up. And so that's why we preach flexible dieting, because even though, yes, your calories are decreasing, yes, you have less room to work with, you still have the opportunity and the option to eat different types of foods so that your diet is maintainable. So number one, first and foremost, is find out what you're actually eating. Find out where metabolically you are. A lot of people like to go and get metabolic testing done, find out where their BMR is. Well, that's all well and good, but a much cheaper, easier option is, are you maintaining weight? Yes. Track your food for a week, average it out, there we go. Okay, are you gaining weight? Yes. Track your food for a week, average it out, now we know where to start from to cut from. Are you losing weight? Yes. Track your food for a week, average it out, and now we know where to make changes from when weight loss stalls. Okay? So first and foremost, reason you might not be losing weight or you can't lose weight is you don't know what you're eating, right? You don't know calorically what you're consuming and how that's affecting your body. 2, and this is going to be really easy, we'll start real broad. 2, you're not exercising, right? When you begin exercising, the enzymes in your body that help you produce energy, burn fat, carbs, they increase. Your body starts producing more of them because it needs them, because it's being told, it's being shown that it's using them. So when we exercise, not only are we burning calories, right? I'm going to go for a run. I'm going to burn the calories, well, somewhere in the vicinity of the calories that it tells me on the treadmill, right? I'm also becoming more efficient at utilizing that energy and making energy as well. So that is a big deal, right? And there's a difference between, aerobic and anaerobic or non, oxygen consuming stuff. But I don't want you to get too caught up in that. I want you to get caught up in the fact that we're burning extra calories throughout the day. We're not just sitting on our butt the entire time. The reason that this helps is because now, say we ate 2,500 calories and that was where we were maintaining weight, but we're burning an extra 1,500 calories a week in exercise and post-exercise consumption and recovery. Well, now we're in a deficit, right? So now we might be seeing weight loss. If you've never, ever exercised before, you might see weight gain, but you're going to see body composition improve, right? You're going to see fat go away and your muscles are going to get bigger and they're just going to look better. You're going to get stronger. And so even though the scale might not necessarily show you that you're losing weight, you're losing body fat. And losing body fat is really what we're looking for. I know we associate the number on the scale with our health and our attractiveness and how we feel about ourselves, but the number on the scale is simply that. It's just a number. So we don't want to overemphasize what the scale tells us. Okay? Now, this one gets a little bit more in-depth and a little bit more difficult to sort of understand and to cope with. And it's definitely more difficult to deal with. But your dieting history, how you've eaten throughout your entire life, plays a very large role in how well or how much difficulty you have in losing weight or losing body fat. So we like to talk about our metabolism, our BMR, as like this set number, right? So my BMR is 2,200 calories a day. So if I eat 2,200 calories a day and then I exercise, I should lose weight. In a perfect world, that would be great. The unfortunate truth about that is BMR, or your basal metabolic rate, the amount of calories you burn per day just sitting around doing nothing, it's a moving target. And so it's all over the place every single day, right? And even within days it changes. So we need to understand that this is why we can't just go get a BMR and then make changes. Now, it might get us closer than a guess, which is great. But the best way is to find out where you're maintaining your weight through your current calorie consumption and to make changes based off that, okay? Because there are a lot of different things that are going to affect BMR and the amount of calories you burn. So one is NEAT, non-exercise active thermogenesis. Things like walking around the house, walking down the Vegas Strip if you're at the Olympia, walking around the expo talking about the Arnold, raising your arms up. All these activities burn calories, right? It requires energy for your body to do them. So all of that gathered up throughout the entire day, that's your non-exercise active thermogenesis. Anything essentially that doesn't get your heart rate up past a certain point. So that's calorie expenditure right there, and that's not going to be included in BMR. So if you have a more active job like a waiter or a construction worker, your NEAT, your non-exercise activity, is going to be much higher than somebody that's behind a desk all day or sitting for the majority of their day, okay? Now, what else is going to increase your calorie expenditure for the day? Obviously, your exercise activity, right? Cardiorespiratory activity, going for a jog, a run, a bike ride, even if it's not super high intensity, still burns calories. So that means that is another consideration that we need to use in terms of weight loss or changes to make to induce weight loss. So we want to be very aware of our cardio and our activity as well. Now, the higher intensity that gets, the more what we call Epoch or excess or Epoch, the excessive post-oxygen exercise consumption, right? So what that means is we have used more oxygen and we've created an oxygen debt, right? We owe a little bit of energy to the activity because we had to use anaerobic sources, right? That means like carbs and creatine phosphate and the phosphogen ATP system. So what our body does is it can use fats to rephosphorylate stuff and you make energy and ATP. So what we want to do, and when we're considering that, is that we're using fats after the fact to make up for the energy debt that we have now made, okay? That's how we lose body fat. Same thing is said for resistance training. And if you are not resistance training, I would absolutely recommend it for a plethora of reasons. One, Epoch, right? Two, you burn a lot of calories going in and doing resistance training, right? So it's a great way to help facilitate fat loss. Three, it's going to build muscle. Muscle is also metabolically active. If you have more muscle and everything else is the same as somebody else, the amount of calories you will burn at rest doing nothing the entire day is going to be higher. So having more muscle helps you to maintain your weight better, okay? All these things go into it. Your history of dieting goes into it. How much have you dieted? What has been your food intake throughout your entire life? That's going to affect your metabolic rate. And so we want to have all these things in consideration when we're looking at a dieting process. So there are plenty of reasons why you might not be losing weight, but I want to encourage you that there's always something we can do about it, okay? Now, if you do have one of those dieting histories where you've had a lot of crash diets and hardcore diets, it doesn't mean that you can't be successful, and it doesn't mean that you can't be successful keeping the weight off. Now, the truth of the matter is that we might just have to diet harder and be very, very careful with how you come out of that diet and bring you out so that we maintain weight loss. The truth is that you might not be in a good place to diet, and you might not have, the ability to really go in and diet because of the fact that like life stresses and time constraints, all that stuff affects that, right? So we want to do a very good inventory of life as a whole before we enter into a dieting phase. Now, if you're looking at going on the stage and competing, that is a very different story, and there is a very different set of parameters that you need to make sure that you match up with to be successful, to get on stage and to get stage lean, because now we are including going to a place that's not necessarily the healthiest, right? Long term, you don't want to be that lean, and being on a timeline to get there. So guys, that's it. That's all I'm talking about today. A little bit of why we can't lose body fat, why we can't lose weight. To end it right there, I hope that you have a very awesome Monday, that you kick today right in the BH, and that we crush all those goals that you have set forth. So, till next time, guys.